And once you buy it, don't regret it. Whoever says
Right.
what, even if someone comes over and says you bought a shitty
Let them
motorcycle,
say.
tell them that I love shit. Any problem?
I love
So,
red flags.
do. Yeah.
Right. So when we were in school, Vikas bhai, I'm pretty sure you also used to draw some fully fed sports motorcycles
Yes.
on the back of your notebook.
Yes.
So now years have passed and I still get that, urge to own a fully fed sports motorcycle.
Absolutely.
And looking at your older videos, I mean, there are times when me and my friends, we rewatch your old videos of the R1. So that dream is still with us right now. And someday for sure, we will surely get a fully fed sports motorcycle, maybe in the middleweight or somewhere around 600, 700cc. So that's what we are going to talk about in today's podcast.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Right. So today we have a couple of motorcycles that I'll be naming, and we will be, sharing if you should buy this motorcycle or not from Vikas Bhai's point of view. And I have ridden a Daytona 660 yesterday, so I can literally still feel how it rides like. So I am pretty good, like I can share something or the other that the buyers can get a good insight about that motorcycle.
Yeah.
So we will have a few motorcycles, Vikas bhai. The first would be the Triumph Daytona 660.
Yeah.
The next one would be a Honda CBR 650R that is closest to this motorcycle. Right. And the third motorcycle that we can talk about, but it's a little bit more into, track oriented. It's not that good for, I would say, touring. That is the Ninja ZX6R, Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R. So yeah, let's start with the Daytona, Vikas bhai. Do you have any, you have a lot of past videos of you riding the Triumph motorcycles in past over the years. So would you love to share some of the experiences that you had?
Thank you, buddy. I've had the good fortune of riding all these 600 class motorcycles, right from the beautiful lady that is the CBR 600RR. She is the smoothest super sport motorcycle on this planet. Ooh. You will not be able to express how smooth the engine is of the CBR 600RR. And she sounds amazing. And we still own the motorcycle. I don't own it personally, but it is owned by my mentor. And it is very nearby. It is about 5-6 kilometers away from where I am right now. And it is a fully legal motorcycle. 100% custom duty was paid on that motorcycle when she was imported to India about 12-13 years ago. And I had the good fortune of riding the Yamaha R6. The greatest thing about the Yamaha R6 is you keep the throttle open and she screams. She goes to well beyond 16,000 RPM and it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy hearing her scream at that RPM. And I've ridden the Daytona 675 and the older generation ZX, 6R. So, wow. I mean, see, I have a lot of experience on the liter class motorcycles and also on the Hayabusa, on the ZX 14R. However, the 600 class motorcycles, the 600 inline 4 or the inline 3, they are a different feeling altogether. Completely a different feeling. And they are awesome to ride within the city. The reason being that the liter class motorcycles have a lot of torque, like a 1000cc. It could be any generation 1000cc, even 20 years old. They'll be brutal. The newer ones are way more tamed, but the older ones were way more brutal. In the first, second gear, they would literally like throw you back, even with slight amount of throttle. So the 600 class motorcycles like the CBR 600, they were smooth. She would kind of make love to you, she would not throw you off. So, those days we did not have these motorcycles in India. You could not go buy Honda 600cc inline 4 and even a ZX 6R you could not buy. But today, we fortunately have these motorcycles, but they are not exactly what I'm talking about. Like today we have the, what I mean to say is that today we have the Honda CBR 650R. So earlier we had the CBR 650F, which is way more comfortable to ride. But now we have the CBR 650R. But it is still not 100% track bike like the CBR 600RR, double R. The meaning of the CBR 600RR is race replica. Whenever it is RR, the full form is race replica. That is exactly a race track oriented motorcycle. So the CBR 650R has the best of both worlds. Now, a lot of people will say it is not as good as the CBR 600RR, but you don't want a CBR 600RR in the city, because even though she's not as aggressive as a liter class motorcycle, the riding posture is so committed that you will get very tired riding a CBR 600RR within the city. Now, you will say, I don't ride in the city, I go out only on the highways and ride. But even to get onto the highway, you will have to cross 1.5 hours of city traffic most of the time, correct? So, what happens is the whole posture, the way you bend and sit on the CBR 600RR, oh man, you got to be fit. You got to dedicate time for fitness and forget about wearing a backpack. If you wear a backpack and sit on the CBR 600RR, it is fatal for your backbone. Your backbone, lower back, everything will start to hurt very badly. So that is where a motorcycle like the CBR 650R is a little more relaxed, the riding posture. And the good thing is that the whole tuning of the power delivery of the CBR 650R would be adjusted for the city, the gear ratios, the torque delivery. So you will not have to change gears too often, and it will be more fun and comfortable to ride in the city. That is about the CBR 650R. And I personally love this motorcycle. A lot of people compare it to a Z900 and they say, why don't you buy a Z900 in the same money? There is no comparison at all. The reason is Z900 is a street naked motorcycle with an inline 4-cylinder engine. It is not a sports motorcycle. It doesn't have a fairing. It is a different category altogether. Got it? So, and another thing which I wish to clearly mention is that if someone wants to buy an expensive motorcycle, it is their money, let them buy. Don't go into the comment section and say, "Hey, bewakoof hai, dekho itna paisa he has spent, he could have bought something else." Arey, that's his girlfriend, Baba. It's a personal choice. I mean, he wants an Indian girlfriend, he'll have Indian girlfriend. He wants Japanese girlfriend, he'll have Japanese girlfriend. I mean, who are we to get into his personal life and say he spent too much money for a motorcycle, correct? So, let people buy any motorcycle that they want. So now here, we should never compare a fully fed motorcycle with a naked motorcycle. It is a sin. It is a completely different category altogether. And next we are talking about the ZX 6R. Now, the one which we have in India, the price is way more than the CBR 650R. The reason is, again, the ZX 6R is 100% track-oriented motorcycle. Now you would say, what is so different? Just because the clip-on handlebars are a little lower, the position is way more committed, why should the price be so much more? It is not only about the sitting posture, it is about the parts, it is about the suspension, it is about the brakes. Lot of things on a ZX 6R would be way more high performance compared to a motorcycle which is made for touring and city use, because a track oriented motorcycle, the suspension needs to be spot on. The brakes have to be way better performing. The brake calipers should be able to take way more heat and not jam. The coolant system needs to be way more efficient. The internal components of the engine, right from the crankshaft, the connecting rod, the piston, everything have to be made of a way, tougher material compared to a touring motorcycle. So, not just the material has to be tougher, it has to be lighter also. Because if you notice, a 100% track motorcycle will always weigh much lesser than a motorcycle which is meant for highway and city. So, if the ZX6R costs more than a CBR 650R, it is justified. Absolutely justified. But here, even if I had the money to buy the ZX6R, I'll still buy the CBR 650R. Reason is, I don't go and ride on the racetrack every single day. Correct? Not even once in 6 months. So I would still buy the CBR 650R over the ZX6R. And now we are again going to another motorcycle, that is a Triumph. So of course, we all loved the Daytona 675. We absolutely loved it. What a motorcycle she was. The best British girlfriend that I ever had. But, unfortunately, she moved on. She is not available to any one of us anymore. So we have her younger sister. So the 660 is definitely not as appealing as the 675. Could be in terms of the power, could be in terms of the looks, could be, the whole overall feel. But right now, she is the only option that we have. Correct? If you don't want to buy the Street Triple, if you want a fared motorcycle from Triumph in the 600cc class, she is the motorcycle that you can buy. So, since the price difference is absolutely negligible in between the Daytona 660 and the CBR 650R, my personal preference would again be the CBR 650R, because the new CBR 650R looks so much better, right? Looks like a 100% race bike from the front, like sharp front it has got. And worldwide also, if you tell anyone that you have a CBR, it sounds way better. Okay. And now let's talk about the sound, engine sound,
Right.
exhaust sound. An inline 4 Honda is any day going to sound better than a 660 Daytona Triumph.
Right.
Got it. So overall, this is what I feel. What do you think about
Okay,
it?
so yeah, I have always been a fan of the CBR 650R over the years, and it was my, wish list motorcycle. But Vikas bhai, when I sat on it, I felt that I am very much cramped up for that motorcycle. Like, it looks very small on me. So that is the only issue I faced. It should look good on me.
You should stop bodybuilding.
That is not happening, because I know I get compliments that you make the GT look like a GT 350 or something. I said okay, fine. So anyways, the Daytona was actually when I sat on it, it's more compact than the RS 457. It's not a comparison, but just if I keep the bikes next to each other,
So you are saying that the Daytona
is really
660
compact.
is very cramped?
No, not cramped. It's very compact, but when I sat on it, it gave a good feeling to me. Like, I did feel very nice sitting on it.
I'm a little confused. Now, when you said
Right.
you sat on a motorcycle
CBR.
and it felt very cramped.
Cramped as in,
CBR you're
yeah,
talking
as in
about,
like
yeah.
it's very looking very small on me. So I felt it's very, compact, too compact for me. But the Daytona, I mean, it is very lean. I'm not saying it's very small or thin, but it's very lean. It looks nice when I sat on it. So, I mean, the handling was very comfortable, at least for my, body weight. So I think has to be with something with, British people testing it out. And the Asians, they are testing out the CBR 650R.
But it's a
Yeah.
good point. what you mentioned, because it means that if someone wants a way more comfortable motorcycle
Right.
for touring or general comfort, day-to-day comfort, then it should be the Triumph Daytona 660, correct?
Right, brother. So I personally felt that this one was, I mean, I felt it more connected to this motorcycle, the 660. And this two issue that the owners have, the owner, that is Lenz and Love, he has shared it with me. So, I'll share it with viewers. That one was the ground
Yeah.
clearance. That is same issue with the CBR 650R as well. The same issue is there with that. And there's one more issue with the CBR 650R. So the booking period, I mean, the delivery period of that motorcycle is now 10 months. That's a
Oh,
long way, Vikas bhai. I mean, 10,
I mean, imagine we work very hard, save that money required, and have to wait for
that's a
10
long
months.
time. But the Daytona
Yeah,
is something, you can straight away go to the showroom. You will be able to get a test ride. And it's easily available to buy. So
yeah. And power figures on the
they
660
are better
Daytona and the
actually.
CBR 650R.
The Daytona
Power
little bit
figures on the
higher.
Daytona are better.
Right, a little bit higher. And I personally,
A few bhp, I think.
yeah,
Only a few
4-5
bhp, not more
bhp
than that.
higher. And
Yeah.
I personally felt that the Daytona, it accelerates faster than the CBR. At least in the initial, 0 to 100, 0 to 150.
Torque delivery, I'll explain this. See, basically, inline 4, okay, 650cc divided by 4 cylinders. So, at one point of time, only one cylinder produces the combustion torque. So, when you open throttle, you don't feel that torque kicking in an inline 4 in a 600 class. But when you have 660cc divided by 3 cylinders, every cylinder produces more combustion torque. So that way, when you open throttle, the initial kick will be more torque oriented. It will be better on the Triumph Daytona 660.
So that explains everything. So I mean, this inline 3, there was a little bit of whistle I felt while riding that motorcycle. So when you're downshifting, you can hear a sweet whistle from the Daytona.
That has been a characteristic always, in these Triumph
Right.
motorcycles. In the Street Triple also, and even in the Daytona 675.
Exactly. So yeah, and Vikas bhai, let's sum it up, because I think people, they will get more confused if we keep on adding a lot of details to it. So
Yeah. See, in the end, buy what you want
exactly.
to buy.
But test ride it first.
Yeah.
Don't listen to
Correct. That's very
the
critical.
reviews blindly. Never ever follow that. I don't agree with that. You should test ride the motorcycle. You should ride it at a little longer if possible.
It's a very personal choice,
Correct.
buying. And once you buy it, don't regret it. Whoever says
Right.
what, even if someone comes over and says you bought a shitty
Let
motorcycle,
them say.
tell them that I love shit. Any problem?
I love
So-
red flags.
Do. Yeah.
Right.
Do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Thank you. Take
Bye
care.
bye. And if you got any questions, feel
Bye-bye.
free to contact us on Instagram.
Comment. Go ahead, comment. And we are there on Instagram. Zoe is there on Instagram. I'm there on Instagram.
Right.
And if you're not subscribed to this channel, do subscribe.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
See you on the next video.